Going?
I want a paper towel. Give me a spare paper towel. I have water.
Oh, gotcha.
No, she knows she's collecting public comments. Well, I was talking.
Okay, you have no way of seeing whether we're actually streaming or not.
Over on this side.
Right there, that table by the screen.
We're meeting on the 23rd. We've had really struggled to find the time that was acceptable for the three of us. Chris, look at Wednesday. Yeah, well, just this first meeting will be just us, but we're going to decide what members we on the board we want the committee to make up. And we like.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we could all please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the May regular meeting of the Community High School District 94 Board of Education. Mission statement, please.
Community High School strives to promote and provide growth experiences in learning, leadership, and living.
Thank you, Rich. Board agreements, please.
4, board agreements. 4A, concerns from the community and staff. Board members will listen carefully, remembering they are only hearing one side of the story. Board members will then direct that person to the person in the district most appropriate, following a chain of command, who is able to help them resolve their concern. Board members handling concerns in this manner will clarify that one board member has no individual authority to fix a problem. Board members will call the superintendent if they think there is an issue of concern.
Thank you for that, Lynn. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Here.
Mr. Ramus.
Present.
Ms. Munoz.
Here.
Mr. Nagel.
Present?
Mr. Sake.
Present.
Mr. Zuniga.
Here.
Okay, that brings us to Student of the Month.
Maritza Romero is named April Student of the Month. West Chicago Community High School has selected Maritza Romero of West Chicago as Student of the Month for April 2023. Maritza was selected by her teacher, who said, "Maritza is a talented student leader who enthusiastically treats each challenge and perpetually puts forth her best effort, even when the most difficult tasks confront her. These high standards she sets for herself consistently epitomize the principles of not only a successful student, but also a dynamic leader in her community." Maritza, a senior, has been on regular or high honor roll every semester at West Chicago Community High School, earning a cumulative weighted grade point average of 4.980. She is a member of the Foreign Language Honor Society and the National Honor Society, where she has received the Merit Award. She has also received the Blue Ribbon Award for outstanding effort in mathematics and the Seal for Biliteracy. She has been an ambassador, a member of Student Council, a member of PEP Club, and is one of the captains on the badminton team. Throughout the year, Maritza volunteers with organizations like the Northern Illinois Food Bank and Feed My Starving Children, as well as events like We Go Spooky and Breakfast with Santa. She has also volunteered for the Turner and Courier Elementary School holiday events, distributing food to their families. Maritza currently works part-time at Classic Cinemas. "One of my favorite high school memories would have to be last year during homecoming week," said Maritza. There were a variety of events throughout the week and allowed me to socialize and meet new people. Not only that, but I felt more connected to the school and the community, whether it was by playing during the Powder Puff game, prepping for the pep assembly, or walking in the parade. I knew these moments would be the last I would be spending with many of my peers, so I made sure to cherish every moment of it. Maritza has this advice for future Wildcats. It is no joke when you get told that these 4 years will fly by. So cherish and appreciate everyone and every moment. You can have fun while also focusing on your education. Be yourself, meet new people, get involved, and build bonds with your teachers. Also, keep in mind to manage your time and your work. Don't be up until 3 a.m. saving the city as a masked hero, or some like to say I was up doing homework. Overall, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and embrace curiosity towards your educational journey. After graduation, Maritza will attend Illinois State University to major in elementary education, bilingual, bicultural education.
Well done, Maritza. And that brings us to good news of the district.
Danbury Guild, let me step back over here. Danbury Guild took 5th place in the IHSA State Journalism Competition in the editorial writing category, April 21st in Normal, Illinois. His win marks the first time since 2017 that a Wildcat Chronicle reporter placed at the state competition. Dan Deere, who placed first in editorial writing during April's sectionals competition, is a first-year journalism student who worked his way up to opinions editor, a position he currently holds. Gil has twice been named Reporter of the Week, and he is a Best of SNO winner as well. Most recently, Dan Deere was part of the editorial team, which was awarded a blue ribbon from the Northern Illinois Scholastic Press Association for their article, Excessive Social Media Use, Dangerous for Teenagers.
Well done, Danvir.
And then we have Michelle Garcia. She's a member of the Technology Center of DuPage County, TCD, an elective career and technical education campus associated with 14 DuPage area high school districts. After competing and taking first place at the Illinois ProStart Invitational in March, Michelle and a team of DuPage area high school culinary students competed against the best in the nation at the 2023 National ProStart Invitational in Washington, D.C. The students are part of the professional cooking, baking, and service program at TCD. The state competition was hosted by the Illinois Restaurant Association Educational Foundation. The national event by the National Restaurant Association Educational Foundation. Both competitions give budding culinary and restaurant management students a chance to network with top national chefs and industry professionals. Congratulations, Michelle. Congratulations.
Well done, Michelle. That brings us to public participation. This is the portion of our meeting where any member of the public can address the Board of Education on any topic. We welcome your comments and will carefully listen to your concerns. We will not be able to engage in a dialogue during public participation, but when appropriate, we will direct the administration to follow up. Due to the extraordinary interest in public comment at tonight's meeting, each presentation will be limited to no more than 3 minutes per person with a total time limit of 60 minutes for the public participation. Any electronically submitted comments that can't be read tonight due to time limitations will be posted on the district website. If you wish to make personal charges or complaints against individual employees, volunteers, or students of the district, we request that you send the board your concerns in writing rather than stating those during public comment. Before we begin public comment, I'd like to make a brief statement. The Board of Education takes the recently issued Illinois State Board of Education findings document very seriously. The success of every student is the highest priority for the board, administration, and staff of Community High School. We will be discussing the ISBE findings document in executive session at the conclusion of tonight's meeting. If there are areas where we have fallen short of our vision of success for each student, we will work to correct this and see that it doesn't reoccur. I would expect some sort of public statement from the district in the near future. And due to the large number of people who wish to speak tonight, if someone else has made some or all of your points, please briefly summarize your views and state your agreement with what has already been said, so as many people as possible can be heard. Thank you. And beginning public comment with Sherry Bone. Sorry.
Board of Education, administrators, and friends of District 200 who are here tonight. I am so proud of this, our National Blue Ribbon School of Excellence, where my two children thrived and where I have continued to volunteer for the past 30 years. I love this school. The faculty, the support staff, and our principal, Dr. Will Dwyer, are caring and committed human beings who are phenomenal professionals. I am holding this year's student handbook. Give family in our Wildcat community. In the opening letter to students, Dr. Will states that as citizens of West Chicago Community High School, it is your responsibility to know and adhere to the guidelines outlined in this planner. The majority of our students come from families in which Spanish is the primary language. Why is this also not in Spanish? And I want to read to you the mission statement, which we have heard once already tonight. West Chicago Community High School strives to promote and provide growth experiences, not growth opportunities, but growth experiences in learning, leadership, and living. And I wish that the mission statement had added growth experiences in learning, leadership, and living for each and every student, no matter how long it takes for them to graduate. There are no throwaway students in this school. And that's why we are here now before our elected school board members and our friends and our neighbors in District 94. We will hear a lot of disturbing and heartbreaking stories tonight. But people, let's fix this now.
Okay, that's 3 minutes now. Thank you. All right, next comments would be Karen Areola.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Karen Arreola, and I'm here to share a testimony from Joanna Caballero. My name is Joanna Caballero, mother of 2 boys who are now 10 and 9 years old. I used to be part of the Wildcat community until they turned their back on me. Let's go back to the year 2012 when I found out that I was pregnant. At that time, I was 17, a junior. When I informed the school nurse that I was pregnant, she notified all my teachers and explained to them that I could eat during class, use the bathroom at any time, and have extra minutes after the bell rang. Some of my teachers were kind-hearted and checked in with me and made me feel comfortable and supported in their classrooms. Some other teachers made me feel ashamed of myself. And one time that really stayed with me was when I was in my science class, sitting in my chair, trying to ignore the fact that my stomach was growling. I couldn't hold it anymore, and I decided to take out my bag of grapes and eat them. Everything was going well until the teacher approached me and said, I couldn't eat during class. And he said to me, "You're not special," and asked me to throw them away. I refused to throw them away. He took them away from me and threw them in the trash. I remember I walked out of the classroom crying, feeling singled out. Because of the fact that I was pregnant. That was one of the main, that was the main event that happened to me while attending the West Chicago Community High School. The school counselor that was assigned to me since freshman year, I hardly met with him. He was aware of my situation, and he still did not make an effort to check in with me. He kept in mind that I was a teen student, pregnant, and I needed the support, and it wasn't available for me. Once I became a teen mom, everything started to pile up on me. I was now a senior, and I was moved to a program called STARS, where I spent most of my day completing packets to accumulate credits. I remember working day and night on packets for them to tell me that I didn't have enough credits to graduate. I remember sitting up in a meeting with the dean and talked to me about my options. I wasn't giving any option. Instead, I was told that I couldn't return back to school the following year. And the reason was because I was turning 19 years old in December, but the maximum age limit to which free education must be offered is 21 in Illinois.
Karen, I'm sorry, that's 3 minutes now, but thank you for your comments. Next person would be Gil Wagner.
Good evening. My name is Gil Wagner. I'm a former parent of 2 District 93 graduates, or District 94, I'm sorry. Confused where I'm at. A little nervous. I apologize about talking in front of people. It's a rough for me. 6 years ago, I stood in front of the same board, similar people, with tears in my eyes of joy of how much I love this school and how much this school helped my older son graduate and become a model student and model citizen. My younger son, my middle son, is graduated from West Chicago High School, and he's going to graduate from Western Illinois in the fall. When I tell people my kids went to West Chicago, there's always that eye roll and that, oh, and I always defend this school and tell them how great it is. Today, I sit and listen to the 2 stories I've heard so far with tears in my eyes of disappointment. Disappointment how this district has let people down. My 2 kids had an amazing education, amazing 4 years, and it disheartens me to read this and see that other students didn't. So, as a former school board member, I sat for hours, 6 hours at one school board meeting, listening to people complain and yell at me about a school bus. This is way more important than a school bus, and a school bus being late, but you're only going to give people 60 minutes? That's wrong. I don't care about your board policy or your time. You guys are elected officials. These people sitting here, are the ones you're representing. You represent them first and the district second. Community comes first. Any school board member on this, school board that knew about this should step down tonight, immediately. Any district administrator who was part of this or knew of it should also resign. Dr. Chang, this is the second time you brought shame to this district and the light of the negative light. First was your whole conference changing stuff you did. So I feel that your time in West Chicago has come to an end. So either your resignation or your termination will be fine. Thank you.
is Renee Yaki.
Hello, this is a different point for me. I address this board in sort of a unique position in the perspective that I'm not only a community member of West Chicago Community High School for the last 20-some years, but also a parent of 2 children that have graduated from this district, and also a former board member, as some of you know. I was a board member from 2013 through 2021, with my final 2 years being as board president. I had the privilege of serving with a few of you on the board for a bit of a time, and some of you for a couple years, and I know some of you not at all. I was a board member when Dr. Damaraki was hired as superintendent and Dr. Chang was the principal. And in my last 2 years, we hired Dr. Chang as the superintendent when Dr. Damaraki retired. And under his leadership, Dr. Dwyer was hired as our current principal. In my tenure on the board, under the leadership of these administrations, this school has been focused on doing quite a bit to make sure that every student, regardless of ethnicity, race, family background, financial status, has the opportunity to succeed. There's been an increase in this number of social workers and guidance counselors, with a concerted effort to hire bilingual staff members at all levels to implement programs and activities that offer opportunities to engage all students. A couple examples of these programs, just to call to remembrance, are programs such as the AVID program, increase in AP classes, the Summer Bridge program, and the manufacturing pathways, all at the time when I was on the board, were highly successful and continued to increase enrollment when I was there. These programs were either implemented by this current administration or were fully supported each year. As my time on the board, and certainly under the leadership of this administration, I saw that the school's focus or philosophy was endeavored to serve each student to the best of the school's ability as individuals, to seek the best path for each student to not only be successful while a student was in the school, but also have the best resources for that individual to continue to succeed once they left the school. The reality is that when you see students and view students as individuals, is that the path that each student takes is frankly very different. Those of us who are parents can obviously attest to that. There are numerous reasons for this, from anywhere from a student's academic starting point to a personal situation or motivation, which I'm sure many of our administrators and staff may attest to, are simply out of the control of the school. As a board member, you are in the position of seeing and expecting to understand the hows and whys of what goes into making certain decisions. And prior to being on the board, I thought, as I sat in the audience, that the answers to all the problems facing these schools were simple, clear, and all too obvious. I quickly found out on day one as on the board that that's simply not the case. I understand that some of these stories are absolutely heartbreaking and absolutely should be addressed. And it's easy sometimes to generalize situations and individual cases that sometimes you can generalize it to be.
I'm sorry, Renee, that's 3 minutes now.
Wow.
Trying to be fair to everybody. Trying to be fair to everybody.
Anyways, I just encourage the board to continue to see people on an individual basis, but understanding that individuals have all kinds of situations. We cannot
Okay,
generalize
we
every
need to
situation.
move to the next individual, which is be Monica Guzman.
Hi, my name is Monica. I am now 31 years old. I walked these hallways back in 2006 through 2011. Teen mom. When I got pregnant, I felt like my whole life was just flipped upside down. I had no one. My parents hated me. They didn't want anything to do with me. So I put my education onto the teachers here at the district. No one had my back. No counselor had my back. The only person that had my back, and you guys took that program away from the teen moms, was when we had the teen mom program with Debbie Kowski. That is the only person that I remember coming here because she had our back like none of the teachers ever had. I'm appalled at the fact that this GED is being offered to these girls when, what are we going to tell our children when they grow up? Don't worry about getting a diploma because I have a GED. It took me not 4 years, but it took me 5 years, and I got my freaking diploma, and I cannot tell you how happy I am that I chose And I was smart enough to follow through to get my diploma, because now I can look at my son and be like, out of all these people that did not believe in me, I still went through it. And he's part of the statistics now, but you know what? He's got me, and I went through it, and I know he can. And the fact that none of you, the district, the counselors had my back, but the Teen Mom program that you guys chose to take away from these girls, that was sickening. And I did not even have close of a story that the other teen mom had when her story was shared. That is sickening that she couldn't eat her snack in her classroom. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Okay, next up is Myra Lara. I'm not quite sure if I'm reading this correctly.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Vengo a lo mismo otra vez.
I'm here for the same thing.
Quiero soluciones para que mi
I
hijo
want
asista a la escuela.
solutions for my son to be able to come to school.
Siempre que vengo me
Every
salen con
time I
una
come,
sorpresa.
you always, give me a surprise.
Desde el año pasado estoy
Since
viniendo
last year, I've
porque
been
no me
coming,
avisaban que mi hijo
and you
no
have
venía a
not
la
been told
escuela
me that my son was not coming to school,
y no lo mandaron con ISBI.
and you did not send him
Y
to
este
ISB.
año que vine,
this year that
que
I
estoy al
came,
pendiente de que sé que no está
That I
asistiendo a
know
clases,
has not been attending
me
to
lo mandan
school.
con ISBI.
You guys send him to ISB.
Tengo que pagar una multa
Now
yo
I
cuando
have
es
to pay
responsable
a
la
fee
escuela de que no me está
When the
avisando.
school is the one responsible for not telling me.
¿Qué más voy a esperar para
What else am
que
I
mi
going to
hijo
be
asista a la
expecting
escuela? Yo
for
quiero que
my
se
son
gradúe
to be able to come to school? I want my son to graduate,
y ya no quiere venir a la escuela.
and he does not want to come to school.
Nadie me ayuda.
Nobody helps
La
me.
única persona que siempre me ha
only
ayudado
person that has always
es el
helped me
señor Anderson.
Is Mr. Anderson.
De ahí en fuera, cada que vengo
But
aquí,
other than that,
solo
every time
son
I'm here,
sorpresas.
it's just surprises.
Y mi hijo ya no quiere
And
venir a
my
la
son
escuela.
does not want to come to school.
¿Qué más necesitamos,
What
señores?
else do we need?
El superintendente quiere aumento.
The superintendent wants a raise.
¿Cómo se lo damos?
How can we give it to him?
Yo pago impuestos.
I pay my taxes.
Trabajo muy duro para que mis hijos estudien.
I pay a lot for my kids to go to school.
¿Y qué recibo de la escuela?
And what do I get from school?
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Next up is Stephanie Castro.
Good evening, everyone. I am a family engagement specialist at Educare West DuPage. My colleague Severine right now is handing you several testimonies from our former and current teen parents. We have partnered with the high school since fall of 2011 through our teen parent program, and it has come to our attention by our teen parents that they have felt that they have been let down by the school. The school has disappointed them, and they thought that they had their support. Returning to school after the maternity leave has concluded has been a nightmare for them. They have felt anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed. They were even encouraged to withdraw because the staff told them that was the best option for them. Who is the staff to tell the students what is best for them? They have the right to choose what is best for them. They have the right to an education just like everybody else. They were placed in the STARS program that was designed by the school, a program that in the majority of cases, if not all, does not fit their educational needs. They should not be ashamed for becoming teen parents. If anything, we should empower them. We should empower them because it is okay and you will be okay, and we are here to back them up and support them. We should not let them down. We should not tell them to withdraw from school and go get a GED. That is not the way to support our teen parents. And I'm more than confident that together we can form a community where we can better support our teen parents so they are empowered and not ashamed. Thank you.
Next up is Karina Villa.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Karina Villa y soy la senadora estatal del Distrito 25. Estoy aquí presente escuchando por los últimos 28 minutos sin escuchar ni una traducción de esta mesa directiva, señor presidente Brown, que dice usted que es una mesa directiva inclusiva para nuestros padres y nuestros hijos. Obviamente, si no hay quien traduzca, si usted sabía que aquí iba a haber personas que solamente hablaban español, eso es un problema. Vine preparada con algunos comentarios, se los voy a mandar por email, así como usted lo ha pedido. Y voy a pedirle solamente una cosa, que deje a la gente, que deje el pueblo, que hable. Cedo mis minutos para que el pueblo hable. Gracias.
Next up is Alejandro Munge. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name.
¿Qué tal? Mi nombre es Alejandro Munguía Flores y tengo hijos aquí en la escuela. Como dijo la senadora Karina Villa, lo que es, tienen que tener supuestamente traductores.
Good afternoon. I am
Alejandro Munguía.
Alejandro Menguia, and I have 3 kids here at school.
Como dijo Karina,
And like
Villa, que tenía
Miss
que tener-
Karina said, like you should have an interpreter.
y tengo 3 hijos acá.
I have 3 kids here at school.
Mi hija fue una de las niñas
My daughter was
discriminadas
one of those girls who was discriminated against,
y nunca nos dijo el por qué.
and she never told us why.
Solo no quería venir a la
She
escuela
just did not want to come to
y
school,
sus calificaciones
and her
estaban muy mal.
grades were very bad,
Pedimos ayuda,
We
pero
asked for
nunca
help.
miramos la ayuda.
but we never received the help.
Y nos dimos por vencidos,
And we
tanto,
gave up.
tanto como ella
She
y
gave up,
nosotros.
and we gave up,
Y le dimos de baje.
and we just ignored it.
Y ahora fue ella a la escuela de...
¿La dieron de baja?
sí.
Oh, and then she stopped coming to school.
Y ahora ella fue a la...
And now
a la
she has gone to
DuPage
school in DuPage.
y ella acabó su carrera ahí.
She finished her career,
Y ahí también tuvo un apoyo
and there
y
she
la
had
motivó a estudiar una carrera.
support. They encouraged her to have a career.
Y por último tengo otros 2 hijos acá
And last,
Y
I
quiero
have
que
2
no-
other kids here,
y quiero que no pase por lo mismo.
and I don't want them to go through the same thing.
Igual mi hija ya nos hizo un comentario acerca
My
de la
daughter already
discriminación
told us about the discrimination that happens here.
y tomen cartas en el asunto sobre eso.
I want them to do something about that.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Next up is Cruz Maria Barrios.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Pues vuelvo a estar aquí
I am here again,
levantando la voz,
raising my voice,
porque siguen pasando estas cosas. Yo la verdad
because
estoy
things keep happening.
triste por lo
I
que
am
estoy
saddened.
escuchando,
I am saddened for what I'm hearing.
a pesar que no lo estoy entendiendo al
Even though I
100%.
don't understand 100%,
Escuchar las historias de estas
listening to the
muchachas
stories of these girls,
es triste.
it's very sad.
Yo quiero tomar aquí unos puntos.
I want to kind of go over some points.
A mi hijo lo tuvimos que sacar en el año
My son
2018,
had to leave the school in
2019,
2018, 2019.
por sugerencia del señor del Real.
That was a recommendation from Mr. Real.
Él estaba teniendo problemas
He was having trouble,
mentales
mental
depresión.
problems, depression,
y en vez de darnos una
and
solución,
instead of giving us a solution,
simplemente nos sugirió
simply he just suggested
que lo pónganos en homeschool.
that we should put him in homeschool.
Y nosotros lo hicimos como mi esposo y yo,
And we, my husband and I,
no sabiendo que
not
era-
knowing
que teníamos derechos tanto mi
that
hijo
we
como
had
nosotros,
rights, just my son had rights, we had rights,
que aquí se le ayudara,
that you should have been able to help,
cosa que no se le hizo.
thing that did not happen.
Ahora con la investigación que se hizo a esta escuela,
With the investigation that they did over this school,
pude ver que teníamos derechos.
I could tell that we had rights.
Y Y tristemente,
And sadly,
tengo otro hijo que
I have
viene
another son
para el próximo año,
that will be here next year.
pero por miedo de lo que pasé con mi hijo mayor,
But because I'm scared for what happened with my older son,
decidimos ponerlo en otra escuela
we decided to
privada,
take him to another school, a private school.
no teniendo las posibilidades
Not having
económicas,
the financial means,
pero por miedo de que no pase lo que
but
mi
we were
hijo
scared for
mayor
what
pasó aquí.
we didn't want him to go through what my other son went through.
En 3 minutos no puedo
In
explicar
3
todo
minutes, I
lo
cannot
que
really
tengo
tell you
apuntado,
everything that I have here written down.
pero ya por último,
But
para
lastly,
dejarle a alguien más, es de que se le dio un aumento al señor Moisés.
We gave a raise to Dr. Moses.
No lo puedo creer cómo
And I
todavía
cannot
le daban
believe
un
it.
aumento
How did you give him a
cuando
raise?
a mi hijo, él
When
estuvo
my son
de
was here.
principal en ese año. Tengo entendido que él estaba de principal
He
cuando
was
sacaron a
just
mi
a
hijo.
direct
No lo
principal.
sacaron, lo sacamos
But you
nosotros
were
por
here
sugerencia
when
de una persona de
you
aquí.
guys made the suggestion that my son should be leaving the school.
Ahora mi sugerencia es
So
de que
now
si no
my
hay un
suggestion
cambio
is that if there's not a
desde
change,
el superintendente,
Since the superintendent,
no
starting from
vamos
the
a ver
superintendent,
cambios
we're not going to be
en
able
esta
to see
escuela.
changes in this school.
Y pues ya le dejo el tiempo a alguien más. Gracias.
Time for somebody else. Thank you.
All right, next would be Ana Munoz.
No, I'm good. Hi, good afternoon. My name's Ana Munoz, and I am class of 2015. I was a teen mom as well. I got pregnant my senior year, and similar stories to some of these people have said, I encounter some negative and obviously some positive comments from some teachers. But there was one negative comment that stuck to me from one of the math teachers here. He was a previous teacher that I had, and I remember him telling me that I should drop out of school because I wasn't gonna graduate. And that I was just gonna be another statistic to the Hispanic teen parents. And that stuck to me. Not only did he tell me I wasn't gonna graduate high school, but much less, I wasn't even gonna make it into college or get any type of degree. And that pushed me harder to keep my education going. Right now, I have 3 kids that are with me over there. And I graduated high school, but with high honors of 5.1 GPA. And that is the highest one you can go when it's based on a 4-point scale level. You can imagine the pressure I put myself to prove to that teacher, which I'm not gonna be named for respectful reasons, but I proved to him I was able to graduate. And I was in the top 1 of my whole class with other students. I graduated also with 2 associate's degree, and with high honors as well. And I graduated from Benedictine as well with high honors. And I just wanted to show that the school should not tell students to drop out or that they're just going to be another statistic, because some words do harm people. I had the courage to confront what I was going through, and I went ahead and kept pushing myself to pursue my education. There's other students that don't have the help or support from their parents, from their teachers, from the community, and most importantly, from the school district to help them push themselves. And I just want to say, you guys should do better, because honestly, words do affect people. So please make sure your your teachers, anyone that is part of District 94, think before speaking to these students. I'm done here.
Next up is Amy Corey.
Good evening. I am here today to talk to you about what my family's experiences with West Chicago Community High School have been. I know that you have read the findings of the ISBE report. What I want you to hear today is what it looks like in real life when it is lifted off of those pages of that report. My name is Amy Correa. My family moved to West Chicago in the 80s. Both my brother and my sister attended West Chicago High School. My sister graduated in 1993, and my brother left the year before that without a diploma. All 4 of my children attended West Chicago Community High School as well. Only one of the 4 of them graduated traditionally. 2 of them graduated with credit from STARS. My last child, who has an IEP, dropped out after we were given the GED paperwork for COD, and were told that it was a good option. It was not a good option. I was tired of fighting. I had a lot going on at home with him. Nobody here was helping, and it was a battle every day. So he dropped out. I can stand here for hours and tell you about the problems that we have encountered while my 2 youngest attended here. Themes would include being told that they would never go to college because their father hadn't. They were told that in the first semester of their freshman year. I could tell you about conversations that the deans had with me about how they look the other way so as not to make problem for the children when they know that they are vaping and doing drugs. But hours. So I want to leave you with 2 thoughts. Six years ago, I sent you my youngest children. They were in mariachi, they were in baile folklorico, they were in orchestra, they were in band, they were in advanced classes. They were bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural. What you gave back to me was a child that dropped out and another that got through the last year of school with the STARS program. And if you don't know what that looks like, I do. It looks like me coming in and picking up packets from the office, him doing them at home, and me bringing them back and dropping them off. And the material that my gifted child was reading was 3rd grade material. And that's how he got his diploma. Of my 6 immediate family members that have attended this school, 1 of them is an engineer. 1 has a degree from St. Mary's in Indiana. 2 of them graduated with the STARS recovery program, and 1 of them dropped out.
Okay, that's the end of our time, but I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Next would be Cecilia. Not sure sure how to pronounce the last name, I'm sorry.
I am a current STARS member. And I gave birth 8 months ago. And ever since then, I'm not able to see my friends because I was set aside. I did not expect this. When I gave birth, I felt all the support from my teachers. I had honors, and then I had AP, and I felt really supported by my teachers. They were constantly checking up on me until I got into the STARS program, recommended by Mr. Anderson and Ms. Gowenda. And I did. I felt very, very positive about it until the point where it got to packets and packets and packets while taking care of a newborn who needed from me every 2 hours or every minute. I wanted to keep going to school. I've always loved school. But I feel like I was set aside for being a teen mom. His dad, my boyfriend, he got to go back like nothing happened. He kept his classes, he got his grades resetted, and got back like nothing happened. While me, I was stuck at home with so many packets and so many things to do with a baby. I want to graduate and I want to go to school. I want to be someone for my baby. But I don't feel the support of no one. I don't feel the support from my counselors, my teachers. They give up. I haven't gotten emails. I haven't gotten calls in months. And it's sad that the principal does not know any of this. I got recommended to drop out. I got recommended to leave my junior year and come back and do junior year all over again. I did not want that. I want to keep going to school, and I feel like it should be the best thing for me. But I do not feel the support of anyone. And I feel like because I had a baby at a young age, I'm being put aside, and it feels like a punishment. It does not feel like you guys are supporting me in any way or form. I just really want this to be changed for me. Thank you.
Wendy Soto.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Wendy Soto.
Good afternoon, my name is Wendy Soto.
Soy exalumna de esta escuela,
I'm an
del cual el Dr. Chain me corrió,
of the school where
faltándome
Dr.
solamente un
sent me
mes
out of
y
this school
25 días para mi graduación.
when I only had so many days for my graduation. ¿Cuántos días?
25.
25 days
Fui
to
estudiante
graduation.
con honores.
I was a good student with
College of
honors.
DuPage me dio la
College of
oportunidad de
DuPage gave me
poderme
the
pagar
opportunity
mi
to
sueño.
to basically give me my
Solamente
dream.
tengo que decir esta
But
noche
what I
al
have to
Dr.
say
Chain
tonight
que muchas
is
gracias por haberme cortado
thank
las
you
alas.
for basically snapping my wings.
Esta noche vengo a hablar no
Tonight,
solamente por
I'm
mí,
here to talk for me,
sino porque en este año
and
fuimos
for
muchos los compañeros que
many
salimos
other
y más especialmente los que llegamos de
other
otro
students
país.
and other students that came from another country.
Se nos cortaron las alas. Yo le lloré,
practically clip
le
our wings.
supliqué
I
que me
remember
dejara
crying
graduarme
and supply the please.
solamente porque me
let
dio
me
un
stay.
pink eye.
Just because I had pink eye.
Y no vine a la escuela una
And I
semana
didn't come
porque
to
la
school for
enfermera
1
dijo,
week because the teacher said I couldn't.
fui
The
una
nurse said I
estudiante
couldn't.
excelente,
I was an excellent student.
solamente quería tener un
I
sueño
wanted
porque
to have
soy
a
hija de
dream
una madre soltera.
because I am the daughter of a single
Y yo
mom.
creo que en esta escuela
And I
abusan
believe that in
porque
this
la
school, you
mayoría
guys
de
just
los
take
que
advantage
estudiamos
of
aquí
us because
y
the
de
ones
los
that study here
padres de familia
and the
no
parents,
hablamos
we
inglés
do not speak
y no entendemos.
English and we do not
Y
understand.
creemos que no
And we
existen
believe
derechos para
that
nosotros por no saber
there's
el
no
idioma de
rights
este
here
país.
because we do not know the language of this country.
Gracias por cortarnos las alas a
Thank you for
todos,
clipping our wings.
porque para mí ha sido muy difícil
For
poder
me, it
sacar
has been
mi
very
GED.
difficult to get my GED.
Fui super freshman,
I was a super
junior
freshman, junior,
y senior.
and senior.
Me cortaron las alas
Then
un
you
mes
clipped
antes
my
de graduarme
wings a month before graduating.
y no saben a dónde me ha llevado eso.
And you cannot imagine
Muchas
where
gracias,
that has
Dr.
taken
Chain.
me.
Y si
Thank
tiene
you,
un
Dr.
poco de
Chen.
vergüenza,
And if you have a little bit of
retírese de este
decency,
distrito,
please leave this
por
district.
favor.
Please.
Julieta Alcatar Garcia.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Somos la mesa directiva del Comité de Asesores de Padres Bilingües.
We are the steering committee of Bilingual Parents Advisory Committee.
Estamos aquí en representación de todas las familias latinas en nuestra ciudad de West Chicago.
We are here to represent all the Latino families here in West Chicago.
Hemos leído detalladamente el reporte de la Junta de Educación del Estado de Illinois que recientemente nos ha publicado.
We have read in detail the report, the results of the report from ISBE, the Illinois State Board of Education.
Exponemos nuestros puntos y respuestas al reporte del ISBE, que como comité sabemos que son medidas necesarias para mejorar la actitud y el sistema educativo de la preparatoria Community High School de West Chicago.
We are here to expose points in a response to this, the results of the report from ISBE, of measures that we see are necessary to improve the attitude and the system of education at Community High School of West Chicago.
Número 1. Rechazamos todos los actos que violan los derechos de nuestros estudiantes bilingües y latinos, quienes acuden a la preparatoria para su educación.
We reject all the acts that violate the rights of our students, bilingual and Latino, who come to the West Chicago High School for their education.
Denunciamos los descubrimientos por el ISBE, actos de racismo y discriminación en contra de nuestros estudiantes.
We denounce what we have discovered, thanks to ISBE, these acts of racism and discrimination against our students.
La educación es un derecho humano para todos.
Education is a human right for everyone.
Número 2. Pedimos la renuncia del superintendente Moses Chang.
Number 2, we ask for the resignation of Superintendent Moses Chang.
Es absolutamente inaceptable que bajo su cargo estén sucediendo actos para denigrar a nuestros estudiantes e impedirles obtener su diploma de la preparatoria.
It is absolutely unacceptable that under his charge, these things are occurring to denigrate our students and to avoid them to obtain their high school diploma.
Pedimos que las víctimas de estas violaciones a sus derechos se vuelvan a integrar a la preparatoria como sea posible.
We ask that the victims of these acts are registered to come back to the high school.
Es tiempo de que exista en el currículum educacional estudios chicanos y latinos.
It is also time that a curriculum, educational curriculum exists of Chicano and Latino studies.
Hace falta a nuestros estudiantes educación acerca de nuestra herencia y cultura en nuestro país, Estados Unidos.
Our students need education about their heritage and their culture in our country, the United States of America.
Así desarrollarán el orgullo y una autoestima positivo porque sabrán que ellos pertenecen al país y el país pertenece a ellos.
This way, they will develop pride and a positive self-esteem because they will know that they belong to this country and this country belongs to them.
Las clases de nuestro idioma español deben ser en el español que se habla en sus familias.
The lessons, the classes we have of Spanish language should be the language that's spoken in their families.
Español de México y Latinoamérica, no de España.
Spanish of Mexico and Latin America, not Spain.
Queremos que no se permita que los estudiantes sean alentados a firmar cualquier documento sin consultar con los padres.
We want that our students are not pushed to sign any documents until the parents are consulted.
Los estudiantes menores de 18 años no son adultos. Las decisiones se deben consultar en familia con sus padres.
The students under 18 are not adults. All their decisions should be consulted in family with their parents.
Atentamente, el Comité BIPAC de West Chicago.
Sincerely, BPAC of West Chicago. We cannot allow this.
Dave
We
Barclay.
cannot allow this. Thank you.
My name is Dave Barclay. I've been a resident of the district for about 35 years. And I hope that the findings of the ISBE inquiry and the comments that we've all heard tonight serve as a wake-up call for the school board. And I hope that the Board of Education focuses not just on isolated cases, but takes a hard look at the root causes of the problem. Struggling students, often from low-income and non-native English-speaking families, are not routinely given the resources they need to succeed. Instead, they're frequently encouraged to find other solutions or to drop out of the mainstream. And this problem is systemic, and this problem is not new, and consequently, changing the environment will not be easy, and change won't happen unless the Board of Education commits to making this change their #1 priority. And the board needs to devote its time, its attention, and its resources to this issue. And the school needs clear goals in this area, a plan for improvement, measurable milestones, frequent review, and a fierce determination to change. And our student Our students deserve better, and the community is looking to your leadership on this issue. Thank you.
Barbara Lamons.
My name is Barbara Lymans, a parent of a West Chicago graduate, a former school board member and school board president, a former teacher in the district, a former teacher association president, and a strong supporter of the West Chicago community. I was disheartened to read the report filed by the Illinois State Board of Education. I am disappointed and saddened that founded concerns were not addressed adequately by the district, and the State Board of Education had to ultimately be contacted so that certain practices regarding students be stopped. The report caused me to turn to the district website to see what corrective action has been undertaken. On the website, I found the district discipline improvement plan to correct student behavior and prevent exclusion from the school community. The June 2022 report listed a potential action plan without any metrics to determine effectiveness. The follow-up discipline improvement progress report that is undated states that there is a continued intention to reduce exclusionary procedures again with no specifics or metrics to demonstrate the established multi-tiered system of support and interventions have accomplished the goal to decrease behavior, attendance, tardies, etc. Neither report mentions how to specifically increase communication with English limited speaking parents who are unfamiliar with the American education system. It is egregious that for a whole year at least, that the student handbook is not published on the website in Spanish so that parents can know expectations and have due process. In fact, the whole website needs to be reviewed so that all documents are available in Spanish and on basic instructions in how to translate the pages that are capable of translation through Google services. These stories tonight have just broken my heart. Obviously, more work needs to be done, more detail put into a report to remediate these problems, more thought. As our elected representatives of the board, you need to ask tough questions. You need to identify more specific goals, and most importantly, identify those metrics so you can evaluate and assess the effectiveness of programs and policies to address identified deficiencies, so you don't just rely on anecdotal evidence. I do want to mention one more thing that is related to the report, but not about the report. I was disturbed and discouraged by the responses of some representing the district or employed by the district that discredited and maligned the motivations of those who shared the documents and those who filed the concerns. These types of responses do not encourage or establish a safe place for community members, parents, teachers, or support staff to express their concerns, and those type of comments just distract from constructive discussion and resolution about the actual issue, and they will discourage the actual participation that you seek. Yes, there are many good things here at the high school. I would testify to those, but I would hope we all would strive to do and be better.
Arturo Arvizu.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arturo Arbizu. I moved to this country in the year 2000. That's when my American education started, and it started here in this very own high school. I spent 4 years here. It was amazing by meeting friends, you know. But when I was about to graduate, I seek for advice with my counselors I want to seek some opportunities for me to go to college. And the only thing that they told me was to go to night classes or, get some ESL classes at COD because my English wasn't very good. And let me tell you what, I'm a 4th grade dual language teacher here in West Chicago, District 33. I'm currently taking my second master's so I can become a principal. And just to hear all these stories is very saddening. I'm not happy about what's happening here because just like me, there's teachers who are working really hard to put these kids through school and college so they can become great members of our community and so they can become role models. I'm a community member, a teacher. I have kids in the district. And what I want to hear is that for all our students, everyone, to have that path to go to college and be great models for everybody. All right? And if you guys can't do that, step up, please. Thank you.
Vianney Luna?
Good afternoon. Hello, D94 board members, parents, student, teacher, advocates, community members, all who have gathered here today. My name is Vianney Luna. I'm the Community Service Director for State Center Villa. I am a community member, and I'm a D94 alum, class of 2018. Due to the numerous roles I play in the community, as a community member, public servant, and an advocate, I've engaged with lots of members in our community. I thank all of those who have come to me and trusted me with their stories and know that these stories are why I'm here speaking to you today. While in my role, I get to hear many, many stories, and I got tired. I got tired of hearing all the stories, which is why I'm here. I come across stories of moms who are present and who have demanded services for the well-being of their kids. They come every week and they get turned away every week. Many of them have a language barrier and they are not afforded the knowledge to know what options are available to them. Education should not be a political issue. And to be clear, this is not a political event. Some of our constituents are scared to speak up. Many of them hesitated to come here. Our office is merely amplifying the voices of those who have been ignored. It is our duty as community members to ensure that the future is better for our kids, for our children, for our community, and that they receive a proper education and services. It is also our duty to ensure that all of those who are falling through the cracks get the support that they need. This is our community. During my time in D94, I was oblivious to many of the issues and practices that were going on because I was a good kid. I was trying to figure out things myself, and I was kept busy. But talking to a peer, I realized all of the kids that did not make it to graduation. I realized that I would talk to them about the kids who were doing the siding jobs, that they were at the painting jobs, the landscape jobs, the moms that were told to stay at home with their kids, and no services were offered to them. It is sad to recognize that every generation has these kids that are not making and that we're giving up on them. I know that there are amazing teachers in here. I know that their staff is amazing. There are some that are present in here who helped me in my journey. There is one person here who inspired me to become a social worker, to have the social work journey. She taught me to see the strengths. She taught me to see the community. And I see a lot of strengths. I see a community that cares for their students, and it's here. We must act now, and we need to make that changes for our community. Thank you.
Maribel? Very Maribel, Manbel, not quite sure if I'm reading this correctly. looks like Maribel.
Buenas tardes.
Hello, good afternoon.
Soy madre de dos hijos
I
que
am a
vienen
mother
aquí.
of two sons who come here.
Estoy muy molesta con la
I
escuela
am very mad with the school
porque vine a pedir ayuda
because
para
I
uno de
came
mis
to ask
hijos.
for help for one of my kids.
Sufre de ansiedad
He has anxiety,
y la respuesta de la
and the
trabajadora
answer from the social worker
fue decirme que no conocía a mi hijo.
was that she didn't know my kid.
No sé si alguno de ustedes tenga un hijo
I
con
don't
ansiedad.
know if any of you have a kid that suffers of anxiety.
Es muy difícil tenerme que ir a trabajar
It is very difficult for me to go to work
y dejar a mi hijo solo
and left him alone
sin saber si lo puedo encontrar vivo.
without knowing if he's going to be alive when I return.
Anteriormente he pasado esta situación con él,
Before, I have already suffered that with him,
pero estaba yo en casa
but at least I was at home
las 24 horas con
the
él.
24 hours a day.
Ahora no puedo estar con él las
Now I
24
cannot
horas.
be with him for 24 hours.
Entonces no he encontrado ayuda
So I have not found the help
hasta que una persona me ayudó,
until someone
la
here
señora
helped,
Karina Villa,
Karina Villa,
porque en la escuela no la pude encontrar.
because here at school I couldn't find the help.
Otra de las cosas por las que estoy
Something
muy
else
molesta
that I am very mad about.
es que dejan salir a los chamacos
You let the kids go out.
las veces que quieran.
You let the kids go out as many times as they want to.
Pueden regresar las veces que
They can
quieran
return as many times as they want to.
y no sabemos qué seguridad tengan de que
And
ellos entran y salen.
We don't know what kind of security is that for them to come and go.
Tantas cosas que pasan en la escuela,
There
en
are
las
so many
escuelas,
things that are happening at schools,
no sabemos qué pueda pasar aquí.
and we don't know what could happen here.
Anteriormente
Before,
nos han mandado mensajes
we have received
diciendo que han
messages
encontrado chicos
saying that you
con
have
pistolas
found kids with pistols, with guns,
y una vez con un cuchillo.
and one time with a knife.
También cuando los chicos salen de la escuela,
Same with the kids out of school, the students.
nos avisan hasta las 5:30 de la tarde.
You don't let us know until 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
A esa hora ya no tengo ni coraje con mi hijo.
At that time, I'm not even mad with them.
Es todo lo que tengo que decirles.
That's all I
Necesitamos
have to
más
say.
ayuda para
We need
nuestros
more help.
hijos,
We need more help for our
que no se
kids.
salgan de la escuela, que puedan graduarse.
We don't want them to leave the school. We
Pero
want
aquí
them
en
to
la escuela.
graduate. We want them to be here at this school.
Gracias.
Thank you.
This one I'm having trouble reading. It looks like Cristobal Cavazos.
Buenas tardes. First of all, a little bit of love to all of the adolescent moms that are here. ¿Dónde están las mamás adolescentes? Un poquito de cariño. My mother was an adolescent mom. Her mother was an adolescent mom. O sea, mi mamá era mamá adolescente, su mamá era mamá adolescente, mi dama y señora, la Virgen de Guadalupe, mamá adolescente. Hace un poquito de cariño para todas las mamás. A little bit of love to the adolescent mothers. I'm a community organizer for the past 20 years, almost 20 years here in West Chicago. I live in Wheaton. My cousins went to school here. My friends have gone to school here. Our clients go to school here. We had 800 cases from West Chicago last year in Immigrant Society Page, Casa de Page Worker Center. And I'm really concerned about the narrative that what we're seeing, a continuation of what we've seen in West Chicago in the 80s. Now, in the 80s, my cousins, you know, you're pregnant, drop out of school, you're gone, you're done. This was the 80s, you know. Oh, you know, there's a lot of factory jobs waiting for you out there. This was the 80s. Going into the 90s, a little bit less. That's why I'm so bothered to hear right now that the administration, that Superintendent Chang, that Dr. Dwyer has nurtured here in this narrative in West Chicago that we've seen for the past 40, 50 years, and that the Latino communities are objects of another person's subject. We're objectified, we're treated as cheap labor, where there's teachers from Spain coming in to teach us Spanish, we're insulted, and now we're having our pregnant mothers being asked to leave the school. This is a complete disgrace. And again, this goes in this paradigm of a city where we were brought into the city not knowing it was the radioactive capital of the Midwest, where there's 2 waste dumps that they did it completely in English, not knowing a thing that we're brought in here. It's part of this paradigm where we're left out and that we are left out in another person's agenda here. It's time for us to group together for our own agenda. I love what Julieta said about Chicano studies. You go to school, do we really need another generation that the first thing they learn is Christopher Columbus coming here when Julieta and everyone in this room are descendants of the original people in this state, the original people in this land, and to learn another generation that, yeah, everything is so Eurocentric in all of our history? No. Así, para toda la gente que habla en español, la ciudad de West Chicago está cansada, más que cansada, de otra generación en que el pueblo latino seamos objetos de otras personas, de otra narrativa, de una narrativa ajena, de que seamos ahí el mano de obra barata y que para nuestros estudiantes sean ahí obstáculos para la visión de administradores ajenos a nuestra comunidad. It's time for us to call here and all together in unison. We have a lot of numbers here. We have power here. The community has power here. When there's power in the union, we want Superintendent Shane gone. We want Dr. Dwyer gone. We want the people replaced. There's been a lot of talk tonight about...
Thank you for your comments. We're past 3 minutes. But
There's been a lot of talk tonight about civil individual rights. We need to talk about cultural and community rights. Adelante.
Kate Peterson.
Good evening. I am here today as Kate Peterson, Chief of Staff for Senator Karina Villa. Thank you to all the families who have contacted our office and came here tonight to share their stories on this matter. As an office, it is our duty to listen to the voices of the 25th District and ensure effective representation. For the past 4 years, that is what we have done, but it has been heartbreaking hearing the stories of students who have been ignored by District 94. Students have been recommended to withdraw from the district and enroll in GED programming with no services provided by the district, while parents continue to ask for support as their children experience suicidal ideation due to the practices by District 94. I want to thank ISB for their investigation on this matter, but it has been heart-wrenching to have new families reach out to us because D94 has continued to use this egregious practice. Our office has received calls from our community members in the past month who struggle finding mental health and other support services to ensure school attendance and student success. I stand here today to lift up the voices of the students and parents who have contacted our office for support. To the board, please let these stories guide you as you decide the next steps. Thank you.
Rocio Hernandez.
Good evening, everyone.
Por una ocasión más,
One more time.
ya nos conocemos las caras.
Obviously, we know our faces.
Es una verdadera pena.
It is a
Es
shame.
pena ajena
It is
de mí para con
shame
ustedes
to come here in front of you.
que todas las personas que han pasado a
Everyone
hablar,
that has come to speak,
a decir sus inconformidades,
to talk about
no han
their
hablado nada bonito de ustedes y es una
about their concerns.
verdadera
It has
pena.
not been anything beautiful about
Los
you,
un-
and that is
Dos o tres comentarios que he escuchado
sad.
buenos
The only couple of things that I have
han
heard that were
sido
good
de Anderson. Qué vergüenza para ustedes. Sí.
have been about Anderson. What a
Creo
shame for
que
you.
Anderson y
Anderson
tres personas
and
más,
3 other people.
Blanca Ruiz,
Blanca Ruiz,
Anderson,
Anderson.
y uno de los maestros de
And
matemáticas.
another
Creo que
teacher,
es lo
math
único que
teacher.
vale
They
la
are the
pena
only
aquí.
ones that are worthwhile here.
Y si tienen poquita
And
vergüenza,
if you are a
Chan,
little bit ashamed,
Dwayne y Martino, que
Dwayne,
nadie lo ha mencionado,
Martino, someone else that we haven't
váyanse,
heard of, and Dr.
váyanse
Chang,
porque son
please
una
leave.
vergüenza.
Because you are
Espero que en su
ashamed.
casa no estén orgullosos de
I hope that
ustedes.
at home, you guys, they are not happy for you.
Oh, y Mr. Real es la basura más grande,
And
incluyéndolos
Mr. Real
ustedes.
is the trash, the biggest trash ever.
Order. If we could please have comments only from the person speaking.
Comentarios de la persona
If we
hablando
could
de
please
usted.
only have comments from the person speaking.
No recuerdo cómo se llama, pero
I
se
don't
apellida del
remember.
Real.
I don't remember
Es
what
un
his name
tipo
is, but
nefasto, igual
Real
que
is
Chang,
also a really
igual
bad
que
guy,
Martino,
just like
igual que
Martino,
los,
like
los ya
Chang,
mencionados,
the ones that I
porque
had
el tipo
mentioned already.
se pavonea diciendo que él es
He talks about
el
himself.
decano, el maestro,
Oh, I am
y se
a
dedica a hacer
a
cosas
dean,
que
a
no
teacher,
debe de
and he
hacer.
doesn't go around doing. He goes around doing things that he shouldn't be
Toma
doing.
poderes que no,
He
no le
takes power that
han, no
he
le han
does not
dado.
have, that
Y si
you
él
guys have not
hace
given
eso,
him.
es
And if he
que
does that,
alguien lo alienta a
someone
hacerlo.
is always encouraging for that.
Desafortunadamente hay muchos
Unfortunately,
muchachos
there's
que
a
se
lot
han
of
tenido que
students
ir
who have left the school
por presiones de ustedes
for the pressure of all of
y
you
por muchas cosas
and
más.
for other, many more things.
Y aquí lo principal es de
The main
que
thing here,
¿por qué no
why
hicieron o cuándo hicieron el
or when
referéndum
are you going to be
para
doing
darle
the
más dinero a
referendum? When do you
Chang?
do the referendum to give more money to Dr. Chang?
¿Por qué Pete Martino?
Why
¿Por qué
Martino
Pete Martino tiene tanto dinero
has
si
so
se
much
supone
money
que
if
él
he,
solamente, sin ofender a la gente que
without
limpia el
offending
piso,
anybody, with
es
people
el
that clean the
intendente, el que limpia el piso? ¿Y por qué
without
tiene
offending people
tantos
that clean
pisos?
pieces? Why does he
¿Por
have
qué
so
tiene
many
tanto
floors?
dinero?
Why does he have so much money?
¿Por qué?
Why?
Quiero que me digan,
I
en
want you to tell
innumerables
me.
ocasiones
I
he
have been
preguntado
here
y nadie
numerous
lo
times.
quiere
I've
decir.
asked and no
¿Por qué
one
le
wants to tell
cuidan
me.
tanto la espalda?
Why do you cover his back so much?
Si se supone que es el intendente el que
I-
manda a limpiar
the
los pisos y él
superintendent,
tiene que estar limpiando los pisos.
The one that, the
Sin
one that has
afán
to
de
clean the
ofender,
floors without
porque yo también los
offending the
he
one that cleans the
limpiado.
floors, because I have clean floors too. But why does he have so much money?
¿Y por qué no han hecho tanto y tanto?
Why you
En
haven't
alguno de
done
los comentarios
more and
dijo
more?
alguien, llevo 10 años viéndoles
Somebody
las caras
said,
a
you know,
todos.
I've been
¿Por
here
qué
seeing your
quién les
faces so many
compra o
years.
quién les vende el
Who
lugar
is
para que
giving you
estén
money? Who
parqueados
is
ahí todo el
giving,
tiempo?
who is selling you the
¿Por
places
qué
so
no
you can be
hacen
here, so you can be
una
parked
junta
here?
popular para que
Why
los
can't you
padres,
have a
porque
popular
nosotros somos
meeting
los que
so we,
ponemos
the
comida en la
parents,
mesa de ustedes?
Can have a
Con
conversation
nuestros
because we are the
impuestos.
ones that give you
¿Por
money
qué?
for you to
¿Por qué?
eat with
¿Por qué
our
no hacen
taxes.
nada por los muchachos?
Why you don't
Tantas
do
niñas que han salido
anything for the
embarazadas y
students? So
ustedes
many
no los
students
han
that are
apoyado.
pregnant, have been
Tantos
pregnant,
muchachos que hay
and you
con drogas
haven't
y
given
ustedes no han
them
hecho
drugs,
nada.
and you haven't done
Thank you for your
anything.
comments. That's more than 3 minutes, but thank you.
Y no les doy las gracias porque no se
I
las
don't-
merecen.
And I don't give you thank you because you're not deserving.
Cheryl Moore.
Good evening, Cheryl Moore. I've spoken to you before. I worked here for 4 years as the non-discrimination coordinator. I provided the administration a report on January 2021, so what is that, two and a half years ago, that outlined most of the findings of the ISB report, specifically the GED dropouts, the suspensions that were disproportionate, etc. So the administration had this information for 2.5 years. They did correct a few things, like the Parent-Teacher Advisory Committee and the reporting to the regional office. However, none of those actually impact students. The problems that have been reported 2.5 years ago were never addressed, the ones related to the students. So it's really unfortunate that we had to be here. But he didn't correct those, the administration did not correct those problems at the time, so I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to get corrected without the board holding accountability to the administration. I will cite a response from Dr. Chang to his staff when the ISB report was released. Quote, overall, we believe the results are favorable to the school district and the work we all do for students. Really? It's favorable. Is that what the board thinks? So I want to go on record as saying that the overwhelming majority of students in this district receive a great education. The teachers, the support staff, the related services staff, and most of the administrators are fantastic. There are a few who have ignored these problems for years. This is well before I even started working in the district. These were going on. They've now come to the light, so the question is what will you do as a board to make sure that they are held accountable for these failures to the students? And and finally, you're going to hear some good things from the Avid presentation today. I will say Avid is fantastic. Mr. Kempsky is fantastic. His team is. So celebrate that. Don't let all this take away from that, because some great things are happening with kids there. But at the same time, don't let that be an excuse why you don't have to help the students that have been harmed. Thank you.
Thank you for the public comment. We did receive a couple electronic submissions. Because of the time situation, we will not read those right now, but they will be posted on our website, so they will become publicly readable by board members and everybody else. That brings us to reports and information. Superintendent's report.
Good evening. My report is restricted to the FOIA requests that we have received in the last month. There have been 6 FOIA requests. The first is from Christine Harper from the University of Kentucky, requesting student directory information. The second FOIA request is from Morgan Schuler of Lakeshore Recycling Systems, requesting our refuse and recycling contract. The third is from Cheryl Moore, requesting all invoices or POs that identify the actual services or items submitted to ISBE for reimbursement under ESSER/COVID for operation and maintenance of planned services that were not previously provided previously. Fourth FOIA is also from Cheryl Moore, requesting all records related to the above reassigned duties from Mr. Martino, which show whether the discovery of violations of school code for suspension practices was a factor in the transfer decision, which would include emails from district and personal email addresses and text messages between and among Dr. Chang, Dr. Dwyer, Mr. Martino, and any ISBE representatives and or any board member, as well as any disciplinary records that may have been issued. The fifth is from Cheryl Moore, requesting records that show that the district has informed the students and parents of the violation of their rights under school code and the remedy offered to those students and families. Records to indicate the race, ethnicity, and gender of each of the students identified, and evidence to show that suspensions identified were reported to ISBE as required. And then the last FOIA request is from Vince Espy of Local Labs, requesting for all records and email correspondence with Lurie's Children's Hospital from July 1st, 2022 to present. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for that. Director of Business Services report.
Thank you. I have just a few updates. We continue to use the robot from Pringle Robotics multiple times a day, and overall it does a fairly decent job. The district and Pringle Robotics still have a couple of bugs to work out with their mapping and the system itself. Pringle Robotics is starting to ask if we want to renew the pilot or purchase it outright. Our options are to pay another $2,000 for another month of the pilot or purchase it outright for $15,000. My recommendation would be to pay another $2,000 to see if we can get the app related to the robot, and which they haven't released yet, which they expect to be released in the next couple of weeks, and also adjust a couple of maps to better suit our needs. The annual furniture order for the 23-24 school year, which is under the new business for approval, includes mainly student tables and student chairs, along with 2 teacher desks, 3 teacher chairs, and a movable dividing wall for the LRC. With regards to the minivan purchase that's on the agenda for approval, we've been working with DuPage Chrysler Dodge Jeep for the purchase of the 2 minivans. They have 2 used Chrysler Pacificas, one for $29,000 and one for $17,000. The cheaper option comes with a longer warranty to ensure that we get the most use out of the vehicle. They appear to be good-looking vehicles that the district will be able to use for years to come. An update on the ATI contract that's on the under new business. I did ask ATI for both an extension and holding the price for 2 years. As you can tell from that contract, under new business, they didn't go for either. And then an update on summer construction. We are on track with our summer construction projects, which include the fieldhouse floor, air handlers over Bishop Gym, renovation of the main hallway restrooms, and ceiling and lighting. All are scheduled to start on May 30th. Additionally, our staff will be working on smaller projects such as sprinklers and additional lighting along the west side of the building, fixing a couple of parking lot lights, installing and replacing projectors, and installing cameras around the building and in the parking lots. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for that, Dan. Human Services report.
Good evening. Tonight's meeting finds us in the midst of open enrollment. Although we aren't seeing any major plan changes, we have been offering a number of educational opportunities to help staff members make the most practical and economical decisions for their families. These opportunities have included both an in-person on-demand benefits presentation, a Q&A session during all lunch hours, and just today, a Spanish language and tech support session for employees. Open enrollment closes on May 26th with a new plan year beginning on July 1. I also have a handful of other items for board action tonight. First, the Appendix B committee met last month to review needs for the 23-24 school year, and we are bringing 2 recommendations for your approval this evening. The first of those recommendations is for the addition of an assistant football coaching position. You'll remember that last year we asked for the reallocation of funds from one assistant football coaching position to fund the head girls golf position. As the football program continues to grow, we are recommending the reinstatement of that position. In addition, utilizing the updated administrative procedures for the addition of new clubs and activities, the Appendix B committee is recommending that both robotics and Alegría continue on year 2 paid probationary status in groups 6 and 7, respectively. Next, the Special Education Division has had an opportunity to further evaluate staffing needs for 23-24. Based on their review, I'm recommending 2 changes to the special ed program support already approved by the board at the March meeting, which includes the reduction of 2 FTE to 5 total personal care assistants and the addition of 1 FTE to 7 total personal care assistant job coaches. The addition of a job coach will help expand community-based instruction for students in our growing transition and developmental learning programs. You also have before you changes to miscellaneous wages for 23-24. The document in the packet reflects what we discussed during the COW meeting earlier this month, with a continuation of loyalty rates for substitute teachers and the addition of event worker pay for activities. Lastly, I'm proud to bring you a memorandum of agreement between the WCHSSSA and the district for your approval. Under this agreement, the probationary period for new support staff hires would expand to 90 workdays with the option to extend another 30 days as needed. It also clarifies the purpose of evaluation to support professional growth and improvement in employees' job performance, as well as how the district would handle concerns related to employees' job performance consistent with Section 4.2 of the CBA employee discipline. This agreement is a testament to the continued collaborative problem solving between the district and the Support Staff Association, and we expect it will help us to better support employees at every point in their career. And this concludes my report.
Thank you for that, Julie. Principal's report.
Thank you. Tonight I'm going to take a slightly different approach as I attempt to highlight some of the end of the year activities that are of particularly positive note as we head into the last week and a half of the school year here. First, I want to begin by highlighting something that you may have noticed that we've highlighted through social media and video use some of the wonderful things our departments are doing throughout the year. Earlier, we highlighted the math department. We've also highlighted the family and consumer science. And today, I want to highlight quickly a snippet of a video highlighting the EL department, our English learners, and our world languages department, and an exchange that they've been doing throughout the year.
Every level of language, whether it's a German class, French class, Spanish class, English class, our kids are so afraid to make mistakes. So when we can give them the opportunity without the teacher eyes on them and they can just speak freely with kids their age, I think that's the ideal goal. We shouldn't be practicing English with other people who are learning English. We should be practicing English with native speakers of English and vice versa in the Spanish world. Putting both of our groups where they're the quote-unquote strong speaker, right? I'm the strong speaker of Spanish because I speak it at home, or I'm the strong speaker of English because I speak it at home. These kids are feeling the way that the other feels. Both groups really get to understand where the other...
Just a quick highlight, the entire video is available on our YouTube channel with a lot of other content, but I wanted to highlight that briefly. It's just a wonderful collaboration between 2 academic departments.
Every level of language, whether it's German class, French class, Spanish class,
We don't need to hear it twice.
our
One
kids
second.
are so afraid to make mistakes. So when we can
Sorry about that. Next, I briefly want to highlight quickly our prom in review. We had an amazing prom on April 20th. As you can see, we attended at the Museum of Science and Industry. We had over 600 attendees, which was a record number for us. Kids had a wonderful time. I couldn't have asked for better behavior. The night was festive. And I'll say, the kids really enjoyed the exhibits just as much or maybe even more than the dance floor, which is great to watch. One thing I want to highlight, though, is the video that went out shortly before prom is that our student services department does something called the Wego Boutique, where they solicit and get dresses donated. So students are able to, at no cost, shop almost 200 dresses. We gave out over 50 dresses this year, and we also raffled off some tickets. So briefly, I want to highlight that here.
Hey Wildcats, Wego Boutique is back. We're really excited. We have 200 new dresses that were actually donated by yous again. Most of them with tags, so please come check it out.
Wego Boutique will be March 18th here at the high school in Commons and Student Services. All attendees will be entered in a raffle to win a free prom ticket.
And we were able to give away some free prom tickets at that, and it went very well, and it was good to see a lot of those dresses on the dance floor later at prom in April. Finally, I want to give an update, and this will probably be the end of the year update, on our partnership with College of DuPage that we started last year and have been continuing throughout. This past month, 63 seniors were able to have their meetings with their academic counselors to select courses and their financial aid counselors to finalize financial aid with COD here on campus. So those pictures you see are not at COD, rather those are here at West Chicago High School. It's the first time that that's happened, where our students have been able to take care of that appointment here, and they don't have to navigate that large campus of COD. It's very convenient. We can call the kids down when we're ready for them, and it worked out extremely well, and I'm looking forward to continuing that partnership next year. Finally, I want to talk every semester, our seniors who take government, half of them take it first semester and half take it second semester. They participate in our government simulation, which is a wonderful program and experience that all of our students here at West Chicago have. We were very happy to welcome Representative Maura Hirschauer to come speak with the students and take questions. As you can see, the students lined the aisles of the auditorium to ask questions, and they also participated in committee work and full session work and votes, and it really does mimic that civic engagement for all of our seniors before they graduate. Next, I want to update you on a new tradition. I'm going to get into a couple of other new traditions here shortly. So this is our first year of having DENS. As you remember, that program is designed to work on school connection, social emotional well-being, executive function, and college and career readiness for all of our students. Our seniors this year, thanks to Ms. Ferrero and Ms. Stadler, were able to focus on each DEN competing against one another over the course of 4 days, only during DEN period in the large gym, and they were able to crown an eventual winner after a tie-breaking tug of rope over here. You can see in the top left. And I am happy to say that I've already gotten a request from Mrs. Fermo's Den to rename the cup the Fermo Den because they were able to win the entire competition. It was wonderful, and it definitely feels like a new tradition that will continue into the future. Speaking of new traditions, I'm really happy to report that the Seal of Biliteracy is something that we have taken a lot of efforts this year to expand and create multiple more opportunities for more students. We have an incredible tradition of multiculturalism and multilingualism in West Chicago High School. And this year, 55 students received either the commendation of biliteracy, meaning that they are almost there, they're approaching fluency in reading, writing, and speaking, or they achieve the seal of biliteracy in reading, writing, or speaking, meaning that they are deemed fluent in English as well as another language or languages. And last night at our honors night, we honored those students for the first time as part of the senior honors night. This year, we also started something a little different. All three of our music programs performed together. Choir, orchestra, and band performed together in Bishop Gym, and I can tell you it sounded wonderful. The concert was a little over 2 hours, but it was great to hear the sound that all three could generate individually, but also hearing all three groups performing together, and that is something that we will look to continue in the future. But I was told that this is the first time, at least in recent memory, that that had ever happened. Latin Fever, our annual Latin Fever dance is back and never left, only during COVID. We had that on May 5th. Kids were wonderful. predominantly features Latin music, Latin dancing. It was just a wonderful night, and the kids really enjoyed it. And then finally, I want to highlight a couple of other new and existing traditions that we've got. For those of you who have attended West Chicago High School, you may remember something called the paper dump, where previously seniors would throw in the air all their papers from at least the school year, if not from further back. Some kids have boasted of having papers from kindergarten that they brought with them the last day. The challenge in the past had been we never knew where that was going to happen. The last 2 years, we really created a tradition of doing this now safely at door B at our main entrance. The seniors gather after their last period. This year, one of the seniors gave a countdown. The kids all threw it. And I'll be honest, I can't be very upset because within about 15 minutes, they picked all the paper up and cleaned the entire thing up. And then they came out to the football field where we had grilled hot dogs, an inflatable obstacle course. But really, it was a great time. The kids just got to hang out and be with one another. And then we experienced another newer tradition of ours. Every senior got a yard sign as a proud WeGo graduate that they get to put up in their yard. And you can see several of our students displaying theirs here. A new tradition for the first time ever. I thought it was crazy, and that there'd be about 4 kids there, but we had well over 100. Senior sunrise. On their last day of school, we had over 100 kids show up about 5:15 in the morning with myself, Ms. Walker, Mr. Wolf, Ms. Mastriani, and a few other adults to supervise. And as you could see, the kids gathered on the plateau and watched the sun come up, and they drank coffee, ate donuts, and just had a wonderful time. It was great to see them just have that chance to be kids. Another tradition I think will keep going. And if you weren't able to be there, last night's Seniors Honor Night was absolutely incredible. The kids were great. We had a packed house, and it was a fantastic event for everybody. And last but not least, today we hosted our third of 4 middle school step-up days, hosting Lehman Middle School. And on Thursday, we will wrap up our middle school step-up days by hosting Benjamin. The student panels and the workshops have been a great way to continue to have our 8th graders get ready for high school. I do want to say also, too, a congratulations to the drama program who had a great musical back at the end of April. Freaky Friday was well attended all 3 nights. Our girls' track team did a wonderful job, qualified 5 individual events and 1 relay for the state meet this coming weekend. And we wrapped up AP testing this past week, gave a record number of AP exams, and we're hoping for some good scores back in July. I will also remind everybody, tomorrow night, commencement, NIU, we will see you there. And last but not least, the discipline and attendance data is in your packet. I'd like to move on to the next part of this presentation, which is our annual presentation on the AVID program, which will be given by Mr. Kempsky. Mr. Kempsky, I invite you to go up there.
It must have been something I said. Everyone left. Thank you for the opportunity. I think we've done this now 7 or 8 years in a row, and this will probably be the last one of these I give. It won't be the last one you hear, but it'll be the last one you hear from me. So I just kind of wanted to take some time just to talk about where we've been. We started this in 2011 with 2 sections of 20 students. Dr. Chang tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, we want you to teach AVID." And I said, "I don't think I want to teach AVID." And he said, "Well, let's talk about it the next day." And under his leadership and guidance, I agreed to do it, and it's turned out to be the best thing that has happened to me professionally, and it's had a lot of positive benefits personally. So I'm forever grateful to Dr. Chang for realizing something in me and giving me this opportunity to work with these kids and grow this program. So we now have 4 teachers, 20 sections, 20 to 30 kids each. We have a site team that's comprised of 1 teacher at least from each department. And we have been able to provide professional development for the entire staff through our AVID strategies that we've learned in these summer institutes. And these strategies are being pushed out throughout the community school-wide, which is something that when we started this in 2011, I did not see this happening. So it's just really, it's been amazing to see what it's done. We saw an former AVID student speak tonight. Miss Ari Koss is a social worker here. She is a product of the AVID program. We have kids all over the community, throughout the country doing some different stuff. It really has become a family where we keep in touch with people, and they come back and want to give back to our students to help them with that community. Just want to give you an overview of how we've grown. Where we started with the 2014 students, those are the seniors. So we had 20 seniors graduate at that time with close to $500,000 in scholarships. On the right, you'll notice the numbers have gone up every year except for 21, 22. I think COVID may have had something to do with that. But the numbers have gone up exponentially. A few years back, someone asked us to provide, that's great, all the scholarship money, but how much money are our kids actually getting? Like, what are they taking? What are they using? So you can see in 2020, 21, we put down the acceptance, what they are actually taking with the money they're taking and using. And when you see what they got for this year, that's real money that they are using to pay for college, to pay for trade school, that they are taking. So the big numbers are nice. But we might have one kid get awarded $150,000 in scholarships because they've applied to multiple schools. But the money accepted is actual money that is going to our kids in West Chicago. I just want to talk a little bit about how did we do it. Thank a few people specifically, and then I'll show you the senior data. We'll watch a little bit of the video, and then that'll be it. But when we started in 2011, I want to thank specifically Mr. Ramus, Mr. Sake, and Mr. Nagel for your support over the years. There have been times when I wasn't sure if Abbott was going to be around the following year because we went through budget cuts and we had different stuff going on, and you were always supportive of me, so thank you. I want to thank the entire Board of Education. I know that you dedicate resources to these kids and this program and me and the other teachers. Without all of you, I wouldn't be up here speaking. To be honest, I don't know if I would be teaching in West Chicago if it wasn't for Abbott at this point, because I don't know what the future would have held. My vision for myself was not Abbott in 2011. It changed because Abbott changed me, and then I already liked the community. Abbott helped me fall in love with the community. I want to specifically thank Dr. Chang, Mr. Pete Martino. Those two guys were at the table when I couldn't be there because I was teaching. So there would be conversations about what are we going to do next year? What programs do we need? What programs could we maybe cut, or what do we maybe want to downsize? And Mr. Martino, Dr. Chang, both of them were always a voice of positivity and helping out me, helping out our Avid program, and making sure that we were doing best for our kids. Without them at the table, I know there were a couple times when we might not have Avid right now, so thank you. Dr. Will Dwyer, amazing principal. He continues to be a supporter of everything we do here, not just with me, but everybody. It's always positive, and it's always, what can we do to get better? What can we do to help our kids? It's never been a situation where that was not the conversation. Len Egan is our current student service coordinator. Him and I work pretty closely to run Avid. It's not growing without Mr. Egan. And I just got to thank Mrs. Bridges, who's not here tonight, probably not watching, but we started it together. Me and Maura started it together, just the two of us, essentially. We had support, but it was the two of us. Staff, Mrs. Culbertson is our current Avid teacher, senior teacher. I'll talk more about her in a minute. But she was there at our very first Avid training in 2011. I was told we're going to travel the world with Avid. And we went to beautiful Rosemont, Illinois, and Mrs. Culbertson was there. So thank you to her. And then Mr. Cost and Mr. Gimpert also teach Avid as well. So without them, we're not where we are. So here's the data. This is what I came to present. All of these students are Mrs. Culbertson's students this year. The students deserve the credit, but if you want to give credit to a teacher, it's all Mrs. Culbertson. She has destroyed every record I have set within our Avid world. She destroyed them all. The relationship she's built with kids, the work she did with them to get them to where they're at is incredible. So you can see we've beaten every number we've had. Scholarships are up, acceptances are up, more kids are going to school than ever before. I want to specifically talk about the careers because a couple years back, the Board of Education said, this is all great, what about career? So we have a partnership with COD with welding. UTI is a great partner with us for automotive tech as well as COD. We have partnership with an electricians union out of Warrenville, the local 707. they have a junior apprentice program that we always let the kids know about. We give them paperwork. We've had a couple kids go in for interviews. For whatever reason, it hasn't panned out just yet, but that's a great opportunity. There's a hydraulics company, WOR Inc., contacts me every year with recommendations for students. We have a student working there now. For kids who college isn't for them and they want to get into the workforce, but they want a good job with benefits. So WOR Inc. has been super helpful. This year, we started a partnership with HVAC apprenticeship through Ozone Heating and Air, which actually came to be because I had them come and do the HVAC at my house, and we got to talking, and that's how it started. So we have a process for students to get apprenticeships for HVAC through Ozone, as well as through TCD and COD. Military's been an option that we've had for years. We bring in one branch each year, and then students can explore that further. And cosmetology, barber school is something you will see in the video. We have a couple kids going into that as well. It's been amazing. So thank you. Thank you for your support. I'm going to end with, we do our Avid video every year. We used to be able to show the entire video. Now we have so many kids that the video is like 9-10 minutes long. So if you just search West Chicago Avid 2023, you can find this on YouTube. But we're just going to show a quick 1-minute video that I think really shows our kids and how excited they are. So thank you again. I'd encourage you to watch the whole video. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be at West Chicago, but my role is going to change a little bit. So lot of great people coming in to keep Avid doing what it's doing, and I'll still be here to help them out as needed. But thank you for all your support over the years, your resources, and your trust in me. It's made me a wildcat for life. So thank you.
Great job.
Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for the wonderful program.
I do want to say thank you to Mr. Kempsky, who is not leaving us. As said, he has taken over our STAR program, and we are looking forward to great things and continuing to support kids in the next chapters of their life. So great job, Mr. Kempsky.
Anything else, Will, or is that done with the?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, that brings us to committee and representative reports. Anything from the world of SACID?
Not this time, thank you.
Okay, that brings us to future dates. There is a special joint Board of Education meeting on May 23rd, Committee of the Whole meeting on June 6th, Board of Education meeting on June 20th. At this point, any open comment from board members? All right, hearing none, any future issues? Hearing none, we move to consent agenda. Does anyone wish any items removed from the consent agenda for separate actions? Okay, at this point, looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes from the special and organizational meeting from May 2nd, the open session committee of the whole meeting from May 2nd, the closed session committee of the whole meeting from May 2nd, the approval of the financials as presented, the approval of the imprest fund as presented, the approval of resolution designated interest earnings, appointment of treasurer, approved treasurer's bond. Where am I? Approved depository accounts or district funds, interfund transfer, consolidated district plan, and first reading of the IASB draft policies, and the personnel report as presented, and the miscellaneous wages.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye. All right, there being no old business, that brings us to new business. Special education support staff recommendation. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the special education support staff recommendation as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Motion passes. That brings us to Appendix B recommendations. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the Appendix B recommendations as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye. All right, motion passes. That brings us to WCHSSSA Memorandum of Agreement. The recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the WCHSSSA Memorandum of Agreement as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Motion carries. That brings us to student travel, JEA National Journalism Convention 2023. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve student travel to the JEA National Journalism Convention 2023 in Boston, Massachusetts from November 2nd through 4th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Motion. Brings us to School Links contract approval. Recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the 3-year contract from School Links, Inc., Austin, Texas, for a total cost of $53,836.50.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Motion carries. BSN revised contract. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the contract from BSN Sports Dallas, Texas as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Motion carries. ATI revised contract. Recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the amended contract from ATI Physical Therapy, Bolingbrook, Illinois, in an amount of $130,000 for year 2 and $133,900 for year 3.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel. Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Motion carries. Purchase of minivans. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the authorization for administration to purchase 2 used minivans in a total amount not to exceed $70,000 or $35,000 each.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Motion carries. Snow removal bid. We're talking about snow already. The recommended motion is the Board of Education reject all bids submitted for the snow removal bid due to mathematical errors in multiple bid submissions. Administration will reissue the bid notice.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye. Motion carries. Furniture purchase. Recommended motions that the Board of Education approve the total proposal from Warehouse Direct Displays, Illinois, in the amount not to exceed $35,057.59, including delivery.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
All right, motion carries, and that takes care of the rest of the open session business. We will be needing to go into executive session for purposes of litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
All right, we will be going into executive session. There will not be any action or discussion following executive session.